Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Gary with the Get Some podcast. And my guest this week is...
This motherfucker Gary.
What up? What's up, everybody? This is Gary Owen with the Get Some podcast. Let's start with my schedule, as always. This weekend, I'm in Columbus, Ohio, at the Funny Bone. That's in Easton Town Center. And then next week, let's see, November 1st, I'm in Atlantic City, New Jersey. And then November 2nd, I'm in Hanover, which is Baltimore, Maryland, at Maryland Live Casino. I did that run last year, Atlantic City and Maryland Live, man. That Maryland Live, man, the rooms are so dope, crowd's dope, and Atlantic City's always dope. So I'm looking forward to November 1st and 2nd. And then November 4th, don't forget I'm back in Tacoma at Nate Jackson's Super Funny Comedy Club. That's the first Monday of every month. Me and Nate are doing shows, and then we're recording we got a podcast called the Gary and Nate podcast that we do. I go out to Tacoma and we record every month. So don't forget November 4th, me and Nate Jackson are doing our podcast, the Gary and Nate podcast out there. And you can go like on YouTube and everywhere else and find it. But we're 3 episodes in right now, so it's going pretty good, doing our thing. And then I'm off for a week, taking a week off. And then I come back in November 15th. I'm trying to remember. November 15th, I'm in Detroit, Michigan at the Motor City Casino. Then November 16th, I'm in Hammond, Indiana, which is right outside of Chicago, at the Horseshoe. So everything is on my website, GaryOwen.live. And let me see, the week after that, where am I at? Let's see if I can remember my schedule off the top of my head. I know Thanksgiving weekend I'm in Indianapolis. Oh, and then I'm November. That's right, I'm off again after that. November 24th, though, I'm in West Virginia at the Marriott, the big ballroom there in Morgantown, West Virginia. And that's a Sunday night. So, yeah, November I took almost 2 weeks off. Took 1 week off and then gonna be in West Virginia on a Sunday, which is not a busy weekend for me. So normally I'm used to being gone 3-4 days. I'm just gone 1. So it's a big week for me. This October 29th, which I believe is this Tuesday. This Tuesday. My special comes out, Broken Family, on YouTube. It's out right now if you want to get a lot of people want to get stuff before it comes out. You can go to mintcomedy.com and it's out on that platform. You can stream it. But if you want to wait, you can wait till October 29th and it's going to be on YouTube. And for those of you, if you haven't seen the trailer, it's so dope. I'm really happy with the trailer because it goes, Gary Owen is married, divorced, single. What did it say? Married, divorced, single, something like fucked up or damaged. And then it says broken. So, yeah. So you get it all in this special. And the good thing about this special, Broken Family, is now I can put the divorce to bed. Once this comes out, no more divorce material. I think it's been long enough. Time to move on. I've already moved on. If you've come to my live shows, I've already moved on. But as far as like talking points, it's been 3-4 years of this. So it's pretty much gone. It's dead. So, so I'm excited. It's that, as a comedian, it gets your juices flowing once you have a special come out, once you film it, you can start putting the material to bed. But then when it comes out, then it's really like, okay, it's out there for the masses, and we'll just keep moving. And then I got another one that's going to come out for the years out on YouTube also called Gary Owen No S. So got 2 specials dropping for the years out. And the reason is, the streamers, the big boys, they all just passed on it. And I think every comedian thinks they deserve a special. I've said this in the past, but I put my work up there, my resume, the quality of my jokes up there with anybody. And it's a frustrating part of this business. Obviously Netflix is kind of the holy grail right now, but man, they are not fucking with me. I don't know what I did to somebody at Netflix, but they are not fucking with your boy. They, what they asked me to do this year was, they said, okay, I assume they watched my special, I'm not sure, but they said, we don't want to introduce Gary to our audience, which is kind of my audience. My audience is going to go to Netflix. We don't want to introduce him with divorce material. So they wanted me to go out to LA and showcase and then submit my material that I would perform. And I was like, I'm not doing that. I'm just not. I got so many specials out there. You kind of know what you get with me. And if you want to give me a special, great. If not, I'll do it myself and keep it moving. So, yeah, that's why we're not on Netflix. Long story short, they said no, which is frustrating. I'm not going to lie, but you can dwell on it. You can be mad about it, or you just keep it moving. And then, like I said, you can get, every year we get no's, and one year we might get that yes. And I'm sure I'm going on the Breakfast Club this week to promote my special. And I know Charlamagne's going to give me shit about why I haven't got a Netflix special. And it was funny because I texted them last week and said, hey man, I got a special coming out. Love to come on your show. And I don't know if he made it happen or the powers that be made it happen, but it's happening. So my special is going to drop October 29th. I'm going to be on the Breakfast Club October 30th. So I'm sure Charlamagne's going to give me a bunch of crap about how I don't have a Netflix special still. And which is funny in itself. But yeah, the good thing about it, we're in a state of stand-up right now. We are, I say this all the time, we are in the golden age that we don't need the machine. We don't need Netflix or Amazon or Hulu. It'd be great to have them. It'd be great to get a check. It'd be great to get someone else to promote it and to shoot it and everything, but it's not the end all. You can do it yourself, which is huge in our business. You couldn't do that when I first started. So this is why I say this is the golden age of stand-up. So I can't wait for you guys to watch it, to get your feedback, to tell me what you like, what you didn't like. I think you're going to like it all. But you get an insight of where my mental was going through, avoiding a process server, finding out about, everybody finding out on TMZ along with me about, oh my God, everybody knows I'm getting a divorce. I thought we were going to keep it low. So it should be interesting. So with that, I'm excited. I'm excited about it. I will say, so when I texted Charlamagne, I also texted Andrew Schulz. And I said, hey, I'd love to come on Flagrant. And Schulz said, we're not filming this week, but they want to have me on eventually. So hopefully I'll be on Flagrant for the year's out. And when I was talking to Andrew, he had Donald Trump on his podcast a few weeks ago. And if you haven't seen it, whether you like Trump or you don't like Trump, it was another side of him that I never saw. And it was entertaining. Whether you like him or you don't like him, it was entertaining. So I'm watching it, and then it was good. And if you could just, like I said, if you can just watch it for the entertainment value, it was good. It was a good podcast. But come to find out, Schulz is getting ready to shoot his next special. He was doing it at a theater, and his theater calls and cancels on him Schulz doesn't want to throw blame out there, but I think we all know it's because of the Trump interview. And it really, really is sad that people can't separate art from politics and just know that people are going out to have a good time, and your personal bias, your personal agenda should not come into the end all, which is making money. Schulz does not have a rowdy crowd. You're not going to get people fighting and things like that in his audience. I understand like some artists, I think more musicians, and I don't mean rappers. Like I remember Marilyn Manson back in the day. There was different rock bands that would destroy shit. I understand if you don't want them in your building. But a comedian, you're going to cancel a comedian because he had Donald Trump on his podcast, and who's ever the powers be, like, that doesn't fit our audience. That doesn't fit. No, your agenda is to make money and sell tickets, regardless. And so Schulz was like, all right, I'm going to keep it moving. Now he's going to do a special at the Beacon Theater, which is a bigger theater. And I hope it sells out. I hope it's number one. I hope it makes 10 times more money. But I just think, man, people these days, it's sad. And this is the second time this has happened to Andrew Schulz, too. Second time. And speaking about people getting offended, I went to LA a few weeks ago, and I had like 4 meetings. And I don't want to be the guy I don't want to do what DJ Vlad did to Marlon Wayans. I don't want to start making personal conversations public and things like that and naming people. I'll just say I had meetings with various studios and executives. And one meeting I had was with a black lady and a white dude, right? And we start the meeting off and we're talking about just road stories, right? So I tell a story about Chelsea Handler. And God, 2000, something like that, 2001. They hired Chelsea Handler to open for me in Sacramento, California. Keep in mind, nobody knew who Chelsea Handler was back then. She was before the talk show, all that. So at that time, I think I was doing Wednesday through Sunday. I'm pretty sure. So I just remember the first night, Chelsea didn't do that great. And then the second night, she didn't do that great. So we're at some bar with the staff and the manager, and she's just taking shots to the head. And I was like, what's wrong? And she goes, I don't get it. My jokes ain't working. I've been working on this. I'm going to Montreal next week. Now, those of you who don't know, Montreal Comedy Festival used to be the special where people got deals, $1 million, $100,000, or 6-7-figure dollar deals was coming out of Montreal back then. Like you could have 1 5-minute good set and you're off for the races. I saw Gabriel Iglesias there, went through the roof. I saw this comedian named Chicken, boom, went through the roof. There's been people like literally discovered at the Montreal Comedy Festival. That used to be the one where TV and film execs would go discover new talent. And she was going. And I had did it the year before. So she was telling me like, I don't understand it. I've been working on this. Da-da-da. So I said, listen, I did Montreal last year. I was on New Faces, the same show she was going to be on. And I said, you're not going to see any Latinos. And we were in Sacramento, so you're not going to see any Mexicans. You're not going to see any black people at your show. So what we're going to do, and those were people that were coming to see me in Sacramento. I said, we're going to move black people and Mexicans towards the back of the room. And we're going to put all white, older white and white couples especially towards the front, at least the first 2 rows. And I told her, I said, you focus on the first 2 rows, and then, because that's going to be your audience in Montreal. And so we told the staff, and we worked it out. The rest of the week went smooth. She did better. I was like, okay, it was good. I thought, looking out for a fellow comic, I had been to Montreal, and I tell that story in this meeting with these 2 people. And when I told it, the energy was off. I've been in meetings and I've been in TV pitch meetings, and anybody in the entertainment business that's done pitch meetings, sometimes you're like, the room's flat. And it felt like a flat TV pitch. I was like, man, they didn't laugh at any part of that story. They didn't laugh. The meeting lasted about an hour. This is in the first 10, 15 minutes of the meeting. I told this Chelsea Handler story. My manager calls a couple days later. She goes, okay, this meeting went great. This meeting went great. They want to do some work with you. I was like, great. They go, well, one meeting, a girl got offended. And I was like, what? And then she goes, yeah, the black girl got offended at the Chelsea Handler story. And I went, oh my God. And she was like, yeah, the story about you moving black people and Mexicans to the back of the room so she could focus on white people in the front. I said, yeah. I've told that story for 20 years. It was just me looking out for a comic because she was not going to see black people or Mexicans in Montreal at the comedy festival. And my manager was like, I know. All she heard was blacks in the back. And I was like, well, why didn't she say nothing in the meeting? Why didn't we talk about it? Why didn't she say, hey, tell that story again? Why'd you move in the back? Why would you go on a meeting for 45 more minutes and smile and be like, and ask me other questions when the whole time, when the meeting's over, the only thing you got out of the meeting was the Chelsea Handler story that I moved blacks and Mexicans to the back of the room. And keep in mind, the Sacramento punchline is so small. When I say back of the room, there's probably 6 rows. And so I'm saying the first 2 rows, we're going to do white people. So when I say back, I just mean back like 3 or 4 rows. Not back of the room, up in the balcony, and you paid for VIP seats. No. At that time, there was no VIP seats to see Gary Owen. It was probably $20 a ticket, flat rate. So I just was like, oh, in the past, that would have hurt. The past, I would have been like, oh no, I'm never going to work with this particular person or there's this particular studio again. Where I'm at now, fuck them. I could care less. I'm like, that's all you got out of that meeting. Well, you're on the wrong line of work because you're dealing with comedians. We're sharing stories from the road. Yeah, they're not all going to be politically correct. Yeah, they're not all going to be what you deem is funny, but they're honest stories that we're sharing with you. And I'm just like, all you got out of that was, all she heard was blacks in the back. A story that I've shared numerous times with numerous people, and nobody's ever taken that route. Nobody ever said, oh, I'm offended by that. And that is the problem with entertainment right now, is too many people in charge have their own personal agenda instead of take the person for face value. You got me, Gary Owen, who's performed in front of black people for 27 years. And now one time have I crossed the line where I was like, he's done. That's the real him. You're going to get those people on the internet that are going to say, I'm a closet racist. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. These Twitter, these bots and things. But I'm talking about at the core, people that know me, people that follow me, they know what I'm about. So I'm just going, you were offended by that. Look at my track record with black people. And you think that's all you... It would have been no different if Chelsea Handler was doing Showtime at the Apollo. I would have said, look, we're going to move all the white people to the back. And we're going to put the first 2 rows, we're going to put nothing but black people. Because that's what's going to be a Showtime at the Apollo. There used to be a show on Telemundo called Que Locos. And if she was doing Que Locos, I'd have been like, we're going to put all the Mexicans in the first 2 rows. We're going to move all the white and black people to the back. That's just you looking out for another comedian. You want them to do well. Listen, as a comedian, I don't like seeing comedians bomb. It's awkward. It's weird. I don't like it. I just don't like, we've all been there. It makes me cringe because every comic has had a flat set. So if you're working with me and there's anything I can do to make sure you don't have a flat set, I'm going to do, whether I'm going before you or after you. I want people to leave saying that was a great show. And everybody can have their favorite joke or favorite comedian if there's multiple comedians on the show. That doesn't bother me. I just want the show to be good. So anything I can do to help that, I'm going to do. So this black lady, what's scary is she's making decisions. She's making decisions on who's going to be in movies, who's going to be in TV shows. And she was offended at that story. And please, in the comments, is anything about that story offensive? Anything about that story racist at all? Tell me. I've been telling that story for 20 plus years, and this is the first time I've ever heard anybody say they were offended by it. So I'm not going to say what studio or anything. I'm just going to say it threw me. It pissed me off, honestly, because I was like, that's what you took out of the meeting? We talked for an hour about numerous things. And now that the meeting's over with, she didn't hear anything I said. She didn't hear anything else outside of, I was offended. He put black people in the back of the Sacramento Punchline, which she's probably never been to the Sacramento Punchline. So she doesn't realize when I say in the back, I mean literally 5 feet. And like I said, if she would have been doing another national, if she would have said, I'm going to Japan to perform at the Tokyo Dome, I'd be like, we're putting the Asians in the front because that's what's going to be in Tokyo. That's just me looking out for a gimmick. So I'm just like, you got offended? I don't know. She shouldn't be in, she definitely should, I don't know, I'm not going to say she shouldn't be in entertainment. She shouldn't be in a position where she's telling people who's funny and who's not. If that's what you got, that's the scary part about the business, is you got people making these decisions that are putting their own personal biases and personal agendas. And if you want stand-up, you want something really funny, push the envelope. That's what's funny. It ain't just the PG stuff. I'm like, oh my gosh. That shit got me. I was on the phone livid with my manager. It got my juices flowing. I was like, what? What? That's what she's offended by? Oh my God. It was almost like she was like, I'm a black woman and I'm going to let everybody know that I was offended as a black woman that he put black people in the back of the Sacramento Punchline. It's just, I couldn't believe it. And the bad part about that meeting was I was in LA for 2 days, and that meeting got moved around so much and really messed up. For me, it took a lot of time from me, because that meeting was supposed to be the first day I got to LA. It was supposed to be on like Monday at like 4. And we moved my first meeting up a little bit to accommodate that. Then when I'm at my first meeting, they said, no, they can't do it. They want to do it tomorrow evening. I said, I'm leaving tomorrow evening. I can do it tomorrow morning. So we crunched my other meetings around that one. And I think that's what bothered me, was the inconvenience that they kept moving a meeting, and then to go in a meeting and most first meetings, you're just kind of lighthearted. You tell them who you are. And they were just, that she took that route. And she's going to be casting comedy movies is the scary part. So God forbid she's a producer on a movie and you're a comedian, you try to ad-lib something. And then she's like, well, that offended me. We're not going to do that. God forbid. I never want to work with her again. Ever. I really hope she doesn't become some mogul power Oprah chick and I just screwed myself, but I doubt it. I hope she sees this, and I'm like, listen, I'm not calling you out of your name, not making this personal, but you got to lighten up and you got to speak up. If I did something that you didn't like, let's address it in the meeting. Why are you sitting there smiling? You're meeting with a comedian. Yeah, we're going to tell some funny stuff. I'm sorry, this chair's jacking me up. You ever going to tell some off-color stuff? You ever going to say things that you might not approve or I don't know. I don't know how you can be in the business of making people laugh and stand-up comedy movies, and you're going in to get offended. You're in the wrong line of work. Who gave her that job? Who gave her that job? She must have been it's almost like Will Smith in Pursuit of Happiness. You know, when the guy said, when he came in all with the paint all over his shirt, no tie, he goes, what if I told you a guy comes into a job interview with paint over his shirt, no suit and tie, and I gave him the job? And Will Smith said, he must have some really nice pants. And the guy started laughing. So that's the only way I can think. This lady got the job. Anyways, enough about that. I'm sure my manager's gonna see this and be upset because she said, "Don't talk about it." I'm like, we're at a different spot right now. I could care less if I ever work with that lady again. I don't want to work with her. Honestly, if you're gonna get offended by that, and I can't wait to hear your guys' comments on it. Please, if I was wrong, let me know. I don't think I am though. I don't think there was nothing racial, racist, offensive about what I did. I saw a comic. I have been in her shoes. I knew what she was walking into. And this is really why I did it. I was Chelsea Handler the year before. I went to Montreal. I worked my 5 minutes out, and I get to Montreal, and the first show I do, it's old white people. I'm talking blue hair, super, and I wasn't prepared. And when I saw that audience, my comedic instinct took over and said, trash what you've been working on and make this audience laugh, because we feed off the energy. And my agent at the time was like, nope, Gary, you got to have a point of view. At that time, the big thing in LA and as a comedian, have a point of view, you can get a sitcom. That's how we all thought. So my agent was like, no, stick to what you've been working on. Don't worry if the audience is laughing. We got TV execs in here and they want to see your point of view. So everything in me said, don't do it. This audience will not get what you was talking about. And I went up there and I fucking bombed. You only got 5 minutes. When you got an hour, you can get out of it. You got time to get the crowd out. When you got 5 minutes, you got to hit them and dismount. It's like you ain't got time to get them back. And I knew it. And I said, I will never do that again. I will never listen to somebody else tell me what I should be saying on that stage. Comedians, we all know, good comedians can read a room. And you know what jokes are going to hit and what aren't. Like sometimes you look at an audience like, all right, yeah, I'm not going to tell this because I don't think they're going to understand it. It's like going to Showtime at the Apollo. You're probably not going to tell a joke about Garth Brooks. And if you're doing the West Virginia State Fair, no. If you're doing the North Dakota State Fair, probably not going to tell a joke about Boosie. That's what it is. It's not a color thing, it's a culture thing. You could tell a joke about Will Smith anywhere. You could tell a joke about Donald Trump anywhere. But there's certain topics that are only going to resonate with certain audiences and certain demographics. And that's all I was doing. Because after what I went through in Montreal, I wanted Chelsea to know, hey, I know what audience you're going into. So, and I was looking at her material, I was like, that shit's going to work in Montreal with those old white people if she had the same audience I had. But I didn't want her to get so in her own brain. And I don't know why they sent her to Sacramento to open up for me. That is not the audience she should have been with. She should have been with someone like David Spade at that point. But regardless, the fact that all she took out of that was blacks in the back. So, anyways, I had a great week. Again, my son went back home to California. We've been still texting and talking all week. We're gonna go to a Clipper and a Laker game in November. We're gonna go to a Bengals Chargers game in November. I'm pumped, man. So we're back in the saddle. Bengals are winning again, 3-4. We got Philly this week. So Gilly, Kevin Hart, if you watch this, what you want to bet, baby? Me and Kevin, let me see. We've been betting for about 16 years on games. Not 16, 12 maybe. I remember we bet it because Philly only plays the Bengals every 4 years. So whatever, 12, 16 years ago, we bet it 1,000. And then I won. And then we bet it 4 years later. We bet 2,000 and I won. And that's when he took forever to pay me. And then the next time they played, they tied. 8 years ago, they tied. I was like, and then we didn't bet 4 years ago. I don't know. I don't think Kevin got back to me. But if you see this, Gilly, Kev, ante up, baby. I'm not going to say Bradley Cooper. I don't think he knows who I am. But I know Gilly and Kev does. So what you want to do, baby? What do you guys want to bet? So Bengals are 3-4. This is a big week. This is a big game, boy. Woo-wee! I'll be in Columbus. I'll be watching it on TV. I ain't going to make it down to Cincy for the game, but oh my God. Just the world is a better place when the Bengals win. I mean, I love watching ESPN. I love getting up Monday morning. I'm on stage. I think I'm a more relaxed comic. I probably wouldn't have got mad if that black girl would have said I'm offended. I'd be like, she has a right to be. Everything's just better when the Bengals win. Tell you what I did watch. Okay, let me see. I watched 2 things on Netflix this week. If you guys want to watch something good, there was 2. There was let me see what I don't want to give the wrong titles out. So I watched. Sorry about that. That was loud. What was that? I watched Love on the Run. Yo, I don't want to give it all away, even though it was just happened a couple years ago. This is a story of how a jail guard, a female guard, who was 56 years old, started messing around with this 38-year-old inmate that was probably going to be in jail most of his life. If he did get out, it was going to be in his 80s or 90s, if he lives that long. But anyways, they fell in love. She got a burner phone. She started talking to this dude all the time, sex talking. They're pretty sure they slept with each other in the prison, in the jail. And it went on for like almost 2 years. And then she was transporting him they said to the hospital to do a checkup, and they disappeared. And they had this all planned out. She emptied out her savings account. They were on the run. I'm not going to give the end of it away. But in the end, it's such a wild ending that when you're watching it, you see 38-year-old prisoner, 56-year-old woman. You think that maybe the prisoner manipulated her and she probably wasn't getting a lot of compliments outside of the prison about how pretty she is, how nice her ass is. They said that's what got her. One day she walked by and he said she had a nice ass and she was receptive to it. But when you watch it, right, I thought how it was going to end was he was using her to get out and that was it. And she fell for it. I swear, when it was over, I was like, they might have really been in love. I don't know. I don't want to say how it ends, but you should watch it. Obviously, he manipulated her, but I'm like, maybe he did think they were going to live together forever in Appalachian in the woods or something. I'm not sure. But when it was all said and done, at the end, I was like, this might have been like a real crazy love story. I'm not sure. But I'll let you guys decide. I'm not going to tell you how it ends. But it didn't end how I thought. And like, of course, all the police officers like, she got manipulated by this guy. But the guy, Selly, they kept interviewing him. And he was like, I really think that this prisoner loved her. And he goes, I really think his plan was just to go on the run and to be with her, like almost a Bonnie and Clyde, but without committing crimes anymore. They really just wanted to disappear with each other. And after there was like an 11-day manhunt, I still don't know. I still don't know if he was manipulating her or they were really in love. Yeah, I was kind of, I don't know. You guys should watch it though. It's good. It's really good. It's called Love on the Run. And then I watched this other one. This one was wild. Woman of the Hour. Oh my God, dude. Watch that. It's about a serial killer in the 70s that went on the dating game and he ended up getting caught, but you just gotta watch it. It's all about how he killed all these women. They think he might have killed over 130 people. And he was always in trouble and always getting convicted and always getting let out. And I'm like, it must have been so easy to be not easy, but easier to be a serial killer in the 70s. There's no DNA. There's not cameras everywhere. So you can get away with a lot. That's why you see a lot of the serial killers, Richard Ramirez, this guy in Woman of the Hour, what's his name? A prolific serial killer. A prolific serial killer's real-life appearance on an episode of The Dating Game unfolds in this chilling drama about a woman who crosses his path. What was it? Yeah. You should watch it. It's pretty good. It's pretty intense. That was really good. I was thinking, too, going back to the prison story, right? Why do prisons or jails, why do the male prisons hire female guards? And why do the female prisons hire male guards? You're just asking for people to get fucked. Let's just be honest. Why is this so shocking? You see it so many times. And then it goes back to, and I say, I'm doing this in my act right now, some jobs should just be all men and some jobs should just be all women. So I really think male prisons should just be all male guards, male warden, all that. And female prisons should be all female guards with a female warden. You eliminate all this. You eliminate this manhunt that happened. There was a prisoner in Baltimore, some drug kingpin. He got like 4 prison guards pregnant. 4. This guy's a beast. I always say, like, drug kingpins and guys that run Fortune 500 companies are cut from the same cloth. They're leaders. They know how to get people to do stuff for them. People want to work with them. The only difference is their upbringing. That's the only difference, because the leaders are just in you. And for a guy to go to prison and get 4 guards pregnant, guy's a beast. And then this show, Love on the Run. I'm going, there's a female guard who's getting no attention on the outside. And she's getting all this attention on the inside. And the one guy finally broke her down, and she was like, all because, hey, you got a nice ass. She had never heard that at Walmart or Target. Here in the prison, if you're a male prison guard at a female prison, I'm just assuming you fucked some of the prisoners. I'm just assuming it. And if you're a female prison guard at a male prison, I'm assuming you probably did something. I just think it's human nature. It's almost like when I was in the Navy, like you go on the ship and when you have guys and girls on the same ship. When I joined the Navy, girls wasn't on every ship. They were on some of the ships, but not all of them. Now I think they're on like 90% of the ships. But it's true. Like if you go out in the ocean for 6 months straight, your first week, you're good. You're like, the girls ain't cute. I ain't digging that. My girlfriend looks better back at home. Month goes down. Well, she must be working out. All right? Month and a half. Hey, you're looking better. You do something with your teeth or something? Second month, oh my God, it's all Halle Berry's on that ship. They all bad. It's that Stockholm syndrome, man. You're seeing the same people over and over again. You're not seeing nobody else. And then all of a sudden, and I'm telling you, I've seen it. I was in the Navy. These girls get real cute. And then as soon as you hit a port, as soon as you're back home, you ain't even at the Starbucks or Coffee Bean. You're like, Halle Berry done turned into Precious that fast. But she was looking good in the middle of the ocean when you ain't seen nobody else for months. It's exactly what happens at these prisons. And you can't tell me. I'm just telling you, if you're a female prison guard at a male prison, I'm assuming you slept with a prisoner at some point. And if you're a male guard at a female prison, I'm assuming you slept with some prisoners. I don't know why we act shocked when it happens. I'm surprised, like this shit, Love on the Run, I'm surprised it doesn't happen more. And even the women in the documentary, I was like, yeah, they're not getting a lot of attention outside of the prison. I put it like this, I couldn't be with somebody that's a female prison guard at a male prison. I couldn't do it. Be like, nah, you got to get a different job. Call me insecure, call me whatever. You got to get a different job. You're just around too many dudes that are doing nothing but hollering at you. Even in the show Love on the Run, the guy, his last name was White. I forget his first name, but he goes to the nurse. He goes, hey, I haven't touched a female in 5 years. Think I can get a hug? And she was like, are you crazy? I mean, he was just gonna keep asking until he got a yes. And what you got to lose? If you're not getting out of prison, you gonna holler at everybody. Holler at every nurse. I'm hollering at everybody in the chow hall, every guard. Anybody I'm hollering at. Like, all he do is say no. All right, you ain't got nothing to offer. You ain't got no money to offer. Or, really? What are you gonna do? Just keep asking. So, anyways, if you want 2 things to watch this week, Love on the Run and Woman of the Hour. Is that what it is? Yeah, Woman of the Hour, Be on the Run. 2 things to watch on Netflix this week. They're both good. And then, October 29th, Broken Family on YouTube. Just, hey, spread the word for me. You watching this podcast? If you can do me a favor, put it on your IG, put it on your TikTok, put it on your Twitter, put it on your Facebook. So we just want to get out there and everybody watch it. And then I can't wait to hear your guys' reaction. Next week I'll know how it's doing. And then, it's on mintcomedy.com right now. And then watch Gary and Nate. Our podcast is out on YouTube. Just go to YouTube and watch a bunch of Gary Owen, if nothing else. If you don't want to watch these shows, watch a bunch of me. All right? And then the Breakfast Club. October 30th. I'll be on that also. So, all right, y'all. We'll see y'all next week. This is Gary Owen with the Get Something Podcast.